They shrunk Shockwave. I like the bigger one better. Where'd this thing come from? Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here, and we're taking a look at the other of the core class figures released in Wave 2. This is Shockwave. And I say I put it as the other, since there is a third. It is Optimus Prime, but he is basically a reissue of the one from Kingdom. And we've already reviewed that one, so there's no need to waste our money on it. There was also no need for Hasbro to waste any money on it. From the way around here, it did not sell very quickly here, so why they felt they had to repackage it is beyond me. But at any rate, we now have Shockwave. And well, I could say that I was definitely interested in getting Shockwave, since he is one of my favorite characters. I don't see the need for him to have had that silly little radar dish that he comes with. And don't get me wrong, I mean, Shockwave's cool even in the core class, because we did get him as the version he appeared in Bumblebee in the core class. I just kind of question why Hasbro felt they needed to do two core class Shockwaves so close to each other. The world may never know. Just like we'll never know how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. But at any rate, let's take a look at him here. For those of you who aren't familiar with Shockwave, Shockwave is the Military Operations Commander for the Decepticons. So in effect, that makes him second in command. Shockwave's also something of a scientific genius, since it's through him that the Decepticon war machine continues to thrive, as he did study a lot of the ways to expand a robot's alternate modes. So in many ways, Shockwave is responsible for the creation of duocons, triple changers, and he probably had a hand in making combiners. So all in all, a lot of it boils down to Shockwave and his scientific genius, or the fact that he's driven by logic. As Shockwave, like many of the other Decepticons, is secretly plotting to overthrow Megatron. But Shockwave is waiting for logic to tell him he needs to do that. So in the meantime, he just bides his time. But unlike Starscream and many of the other Decepticons, Shockwave does have the physical stats to go along with it. It's often been said that Shockwave is probably the only one among the Decepticons who could fight Megatron and likely survive the battle. Alright, let's take a look at Shockwave's accessories, and he only has this one. It is this radar dish-like weapon. It looks better on him when he's in his spaceship mode. It just, unfortunately, since he doesn't have a place to store it, in his robot mode, it becomes a silly-looking weapon. Maybe I'd have been more convinced if they made it like a shield or something. Maybe my imagination will say it's a shield. But at any rate, that's his only accessory. Let's take a look now at Shockwave's articulation. He's basking in the sun, in the light here, folks. Shockwave can turn his head from left to right. Unfortunately, it does not. It's not on a ball joint, so it can't rock up and down. His arms can be raised up about so far, and they do rotate at the shoulder all the way around. You do still have to worry about some of the kibble on his back. His arms can be bent at the elbow 90 degrees, and he does have a swivel at the bicep. So he has G.I. Joe battle grip. Shockwave unfortunately cannot be twisted at his hips. You can spread his legs apart into a full splits. He does have something of a thigh cut. It's more to help him transform, but he does have it there. You can raise his leg at the hip above 90 degrees. And you can bend his leg at the knee even greater than 90 degrees. So all in all, Shockwave does have some great posability on him. Okay, let's get ready and transform Shockwave. The first thing we have to do is we turn him around here to his backside, and you're going to fold out his wings. Fold them out like so. Then we're going to take his arms, and they have to be folded up so they're on top of his shoulders. So they should line up right next to his head, like so. Once you've done that, we're going to separate his back plate. Yeah, one other thing we got to do with his arms is they need to be rotated at the elbow so that these posts come back here to the backside. Because when we fold his wings over, they will line up with some of the posts. And they should connect. Or at least they will in a moment. Because we've also got to extend it out by pushing his head down. And it should cause this piece on his back to pop out. And then the arms can be connected. Now, I want to warn you, when you're transforming him back, this section here, this thing that's supposed to be the command bridge for the spaceship, it does not always go back in very smoothly. So you may have a difficult time getting the head to come completely out. You see, the head's not completely out there yet. So hopefully as the toy gets played with, it'll loosen up. But I think Hasbro really should have ground out about another millimeter of plastic out of there so it was a little smoother of a transaction. Alright, once you got the arms all connected up, it's then time to separate out the legs on their hip joint. So they should fold outward like so. And then you will reposition the legs only, so it's in a standing position. Then you'll turn his legs so that the feet face each other. And then fold them over and reattach them right under the hip, and they should connect together as well. This part may take a little bit of effort, but you need it to connect. The knees have to bend outward a little. The trick is that these little grooves, that these pieces here, have to slide under the exposed area on the hip. And get that forced in. And then there you have it. Shockwave is in his spaceship mode. Of course, for extra playability, you can fold this post down a bit. That gives you a way to hold him. And then, of course, with this hole here in the back side, this is where you would connect his extra weapon. So he's either going to function as a long-range communications vessel or a miniature version of the Death Star. Commence primary ignition. I can see Shockwave doing that. All in all, it's a rather cute little spaceship. Now we get to my thoughts on it. Unfortunately, this Shockwave is probably one of them that I like the least. I really don't care for the weapon. It's especially not helpful with the fact that most of the interior dish is done up in a red color. It just makes it stand out a little bit much, and it kind of clashes with the purple that Shockwave is predominantly painted in. So I think they could have chosen a better color for it, or in reality, probably should have just left the accessory out. Because Shockwave in the spaceship mode looks good without it, just as much. The biggest problem I have with it is the design. Since, like I said, they probably needed about another millimeter of plastic shaved out of that gap to allow the transition to swivel more easily and smoothly. The way it's set up, it's just, unfortunately, the head gets jammed in there, and then it won't come fully out without some outside assistance. I myself have had to use a tiny eyeglass screwdriver to help get it popped free to complete the transformation. So, all in all, this is not one of them that's going to be a popular figure amongst the fans or young children, since if you can't do the transformation smoothly, it's just going to lead to frustration and eventually abandonment of the toy. So, Hasbro, if anybody from there is watching, please do a better job on this. At any rate, that's my review of the Legacy version of Shockwave. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please do remember that if you like the content that we feature here on this channel, I would like to ask for you to leave a like, share a comment, post this video to your social media, and share it with your friends. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.